You are looking live at a daily chart of the NASDAQ, which fell 101 points today, or 0.64%, and the volume was 8% lower than the 50-day average. You can see here below this red line. Anyway, the significance of today for the NASDAQ was that it gapped lower because we've been seeing a lot of gaps higher and then selling off. Today we saw a gap lower and then it got bought up. So that's quite different from what we've been seeing. Also, the gap lower did not take it below the lows from Monday, which was 15,265, or Friday, 15,222. So it's not making a lower low. It closed near the highs of the session. Obviously, you want to see it rally through this 50 simple moving average, and right now it's still 2.7% below the 50. So it has a lot of work to do, but there were some positives today, even though it was down, and we've seen a lot of selling recently. And this 3-day, little rally definitely got thwarted today, but all is not lost, and we're in day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tomorrow of an attempted rally, and we could have a follow-through day as soon as tomorrow. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Maybe take a look around at some of the other indexes. One would be the S&P 500. Pretty similar action where it gaps lower and then closes near the highs after 3 days of buying here. That's why we don't want to jump in. We need that confirmation signal. We haven't got it yet. And if we take a look at this 10-minute chart, this is what I mean. Like we gap higher, at the open. This is a new day here. The 18th, it gaps higher, closes lower, right? Yeah, we've seen a lot of this recently. Just yesterday where it gapped higher, then whoop, sells off, right? This day opens up higher, whoop, sells off consistently. This day opens higher, sells off. But anyway, today was a different type of day where it gapped lower and then it went up all day, okay? So we're just waiting for confirmation. This market will test your patience. It'll test your willpower. It'll test your ability to, stay disciplined. And right now, you just have to remain disciplined because we do not see a, all in signal or a go signal yet. The Dow not even close to undercutting the lows. So, and it closed near the highs today as well. So that one looks fine, even though, it did have this 4-day run up and now it's kind of reversed lower. And it has some work to do, but it does look fine. And then the IWM, it did have this 3-day rally, and the last couple of days has been lower. But I'm going to get into stocks because as we get into this earnings season, there's a lot of information to glean from these big companies that are reporting. And definitely the theme is spending on artificial intelligence. And Elon Musk said his company is not a car company, it's an artificial intelligence robotic company. So they're spending a ton of money on CapEx, as well as Meta platforms. You can see this thing looks like it's made a low. It's up 3 days in a row with volume. Could be short covering, but that looks pretty good if you're, a Tesla fan, if you're a bottom fisher. This is Meta platforms. Today, this thing was a screaming buy in my opinion. If you like to hold stocks for a year or more, you're getting a price today. I think it was down below 420 at the open. Yeah, 414. So you can see the gap lower at the open on a 5-minute chart. Gaps lower, then get some buyers come in and yeah, sold off, but for the day it was down 11%, nearly 10.5%. But there were some buyers there. My point is that you're getting prices on Meta, here at 400 or whatever, back it did gap higher. So there was an earnings gap there at 400. It did not close that gap there, but you're getting prices from back in February, roughly this morning at 414. So buyers came in. To me, man, this is the cheapest of all of the mega cap technology stocks. They're saving, or out of 1/3 of every dollar they make, they're keeping. Their profit margins are insane. Right here, 33.9%. They got 78% earnings growth, accelerating sales growth, 23, 25, 27. This thing's a cash cow. I don't know who is selling this thing. today, but yeah, I don't like to catch falling knives, but to me, that was a screaming buy. Did I buy it? No. But because I that's not my style, but I think it's an easy buy even tomorrow. Anything under 450. This is ridiculously cheap right now. Anyway, the point is, the theme is they're spending a ton of money, and that's kind of why they got dinged today. And so who's the beneficiary of all this spending from Tesla and Meta? Well, it's NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the beneficiary, and the data centers, and you can see those stocks rocking today. This is the king of AI, and they're not going to report for a while, but you can see the numbers they've been putting up, and doesn't seem like it's going to stop. The semiconductors and the data center plays, that's where it's at, and this is bull market to me. Just reading through the reports from Tesla and Meta platforms, and the ones that we got tonight, which I'm going to get to in a minute. This bull market with the artificial intelligence theme is just getting started. And there's going to be fits and starts, winners and losers, and you're going to have to pick those out of the crowd. But this is an easy one right here. AMD, this one, I think it may have made this bottom here last week, 145.29, and now it's up, what, 153, almost $10 off the lows. They're going to report next Tuesday, so we're going to hear from them as well. And the other one, PI is another fabulous stock today. Now this one, the CEO was talking about green shoots, and they make chips to track apparel and luggage and shipments. And the CEO was really ebullient, but you could see, a 29% move with that kind of volume. That's not to be ignored. This is breaking out of a base. This is not extended or anything. This is a breakout from a base. So this is definitely one to watch. Want you to see the RS line, heading due north right through its moving averages. That, to me, that's a buy sign, but I'll keep monitoring it. I did not have this on our ready list, and that's my bad, but that's a heck of a move and something we're going to watch. SMTC, this one broke out recently and now is kind of pulled back to the 21 as the indexes have pulled back, but it's been strong the last 4 sessions. That one looks good as well. Earnings aren't until May 29th. That's Simtech, another semiconductor fabulous. Okay, I mentioned the data centers and this CapEx spending we're seeing from these Meta platforms and Tesla. They have a ton of money to spend, and they're spending it in order to grow. And yeah, they're Meta, especially, their stock got punished, but they're going to grow. Those are not stupid people. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, they know what they're doing. And if they're spending money, they're probably going to spend it to grow, and they're spending it in the right places. But Super Micro, a lot of people, declared this thing dead because it did have a vertical violation. It didn't get everything back. But, these guys have to be benefiting from this spending here. Zuck, talked about, he needs to spend to grow. And this is a partner of Meta Platforms. They're going to report next week. I'm expecting a beat and raise quarter from them. I don't know if it's going to get back to 1,000 or 1229, but I'm pretty sure they're going to beat and raise next week. But we'll just have to wait and see. A company that already has beaten and raises the Dave Cody from Honeywell. He's on the management team here at Vertiv, and this one traded down to the 50 for the first time since this breakout. That's one of my go-to moves here. So now it acted kind of funny here on the breakout yesterday because it closed near the lows of the session there, 22%. But today, it rallied hard, 6.8%. It's up after hours. I'm going to get to all that stuff in a minute, but you could see the big volume coming in. What that does when, people want to chase this gap here and it pulls back, and it chases out all the, the hot money, the Johnny-come-latelys. So that's actually not a bad thing. You can see here, the gap higher, retail people, pile in, and then it just sells off all day. And then guess what? Woohoo, okie doke, it's off to the races. So, yeah, Vertiv just, to me, it's got, the $100 target on it. Very strong stock. You can see the, 79% earnings growth. And they talked about AI and growth into 2025. So I think they're going to be around for a little bit. Quanta Services is another one. It's in the building, heavy construction. I'm going to get to that with Caterpillar in a minute, but it just sold off to the 21. With the weakness in the index, a little correction here, and so that's starting to look a little bit like the index. Now, I always say when the index is down 1%, and you can expect your stocks to be down, 2 to 3%. The NASDAQ corrected 9%. So if your stock was down 20%, that's pretty normal. And this one, it was down significantly, but not 20%. It's 4% off its high right now. You can see 2 weeks of selling here, and now it's rallying back up nearly 5% this week. All right. GEV. I put GE because it's an defense stock with aerospace defense. But this is their power split off, and this IPO looks fantastic. Did I buy it? No, but this thing looks good. And the other one I wanted to show was DELL. Another one of these. If you looked at their earnings call, they talked about AI and the growth, and you could see this thing just pulled back 2 weeks into their moving averages, and now it's up nearly 9% this week. So Dow looks fantastic as well. The other one is Micron. Just pulled back with the indexes. You could see on the weekly here, up 4.5% this week after the pullback down to moving averages. And now you could see the earnings line here too, just pointing due north, which is what we want to see. We want to see earnings going higher. Earnings is driving the market. Anyway, I've got to get to the, I mentioned the data centers, and these HVAC companies play right into that. This is a Carrier up nearly 10% after earnings this morning, or was it last night? I forget, but that's a nice move from Carrier, which is a spinoff. Train, this one pulled back with the indexes to the 50 for the first time since its breakout. Now it's trading higher. If you look at the weekly on Train, yeah, it's up nearly 4% this week. So those things are having good weeks. Fix, this one to me is, yeah. You can see the breakout here, man, gap higher, now pull back to the 50. That's, like I said, there's nothing guaranteed in the market, but those things usually turn out well if the market is not, in a bear market or in a nasty downtrend. Your odds are with you. We're playing poker here, folks. So you got to go with the odds. And nothing works all the time. You can see the earnings heading due north on that one as well. What was the other one I wanted to look at? Oh, well, we can move on. Spotify, they said something about Apple shutting them out in Europe about pricing, but they're raising prices. This one had another shakeout, a little bit like Vert, where it rallied up following earnings and shook everybody out. Now today gaps higher and starts trading higher. The earnings are tricky, man. This is not an easy deal here with earnings, and sometimes you got to let them settle down and shake out before you get into them. But this is the first trip to the 50 since this breakout from this flat base here at 202. It ran up all the way to 313 and now pulled back to the 50. And to me, the spot looks fantastic. Up after hours. I think everything's up after hours. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And another one of these software names I want to talk about is Elastic. I've been talking about this one for a while because I like a lot of things about this. First, it looks to me like it's making this rounding base, not a V shape, just round. So the sellers are out, and then some institutions are nibbling, as we can see down here on the right side of a base here, and they don't have earnings until May 31st. So you're looking at, 6 weeks away. So you got time for this thing to build the right side of a base. If you want to try to get in early, you could see the massive selling here. And I think maybe all the sellers are gone. It's up nearly 9% this week. You could see the earnings line heading due north. Do I own it? No, but I'm definitely interested in it. You can see the group, number 2 group, strong group. I like this one a lot. Datadog, it undercut the 50 today. It's up a lot after hours, I guess, just with the Google or Microsoft reports. I don't know, but they have, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say under the 50. I like the way it's basing. I can't say I like it more than Elastic, but I like both of those software names and Spot as well. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Caterpillar reported. This is a data center play as well. It gapped lower on a revenue miss. I think this is a little overdone, 7%. You got to look at the weeklies on these. Earnings line is heading due north. It's a vertical violation. That's a nasty break of the 50 though. So yeah, we're just gonna have to watch and see this one. Maybe it'll form a base, but I don't think there's anything wrong with Caterpillar. United Rentals, besides that it broke its 50. United Rentals reported today, and you can see this is a V shape. That's the difference between like elastic and a U-shape recovery and a V-shape. This one traded down, underneath the 50, then started to rally back up. And today with earnings, 15% earnings growth. This one rallied, 5.5% on strong volume. So URI looks good, and then Ryder is another one. They rent trucks, commercial services leasing group. It's a top 35 group, top 40 group. Anyway, this one should probably be on my ready list. This one looks good. Just consolidating in this flat base. Big earnings, big volume this week, up 12%. So I'm not going to put it on, but definitely one to watch. Ryder has, well, they reported earnings. I got to look into Ryder. But anyway, the oil stocks report tomorrow. So I'm just going to go through these quickly. XOM, I like above 120, that 120.70. They report tomorrow morning. Chevron reports tomorrow morning. So these two are 40% of the XLE. So that's going to move the energy complex tomorrow, the oil and gas complex, I should say. And then Tidewater, the oil and gas field services stock, just pulled back like the index and now showing a little bit of strength. Tidewater looks fine. They report earnings on May 6th. Okay. Let me see. I've got to get to the miners. I don't want to, but I have to acknowledge the miners pull back to the 21, excuse me, Southern Copper pulled back to the 21 and then showed strength today. So that looks good. Freeport McMoran sold off with earnings. They had pretty decent earnings. You can see the sales growth is accelerating. It sold off though. Stabilized on Wednesday and today, popped pretty nice, 2.5% move. So Freeport looks good. And then CCJ, the uranium play, this one still looks good to me, just consolidating in a base cup with handle pattern. I have this on my ready list. It's not going anywhere, but you got to give them time and be patient. Like I say, this market is going to test your patience, your discipline, your willpower, and you got to pick your spots. But CCJ, definitely looking good. I like to buy things out of bases and not catch falling knives or chase performance. But I do sometimes. Anyway, I've got to go to the I guess you'd call this the retail. This is a Singapore stock. I had this on my ready list. As it broke above this downtrending line, I guess that was Monday. Yeah, and we've had it on all week, and it's been a phenomenal performer this week. Gave back a little bit today, barely anything, but I like it. It's a 62.25 or 63.25. I zoom in here. And so, above that level, if you just kind of want to do that, that looks good as well. If you get in early here, then you got a little cushion. But they report earnings on May 14th. If you look at the weekly chart, you can see it's just trying to peek out, poke out of a stage one base. Well, I don't like that earnings curl down, but it's had a massive sell-off. CPNG, the Amazon of Korea or South Korea, broke out of a base, and now it's just trading flat. This thing looks fine to me. I don't expect much from it. It just pulled back to the 10 today, just allowing the moving averages to catch up. I don't think it's going to be a runaway freight train, but that's a breakout of a cup with handle base, and it's doing nothing wrong. It's holding up well. Heck, up 4.5% this week. We'll take that every week. What else do I have? Oh, Deckers was downgraded today, so that dropped. The heck was it? Crocs and Skechers and so anyway, yeah, this thing was down 5% on a downgrade. I mentioned Skechers. They did report today. Oh, up 8% after hours. And I'm going to get to all that stuff in a minute. CMG reported yesterday, had a nice move higher. They're going to split 50 for 1 in June. So, and it's up $16 after hours. So, yeah, when it splits 50 to 1, it'll be about a $60 stock. So, CMG hitting on all cylinders. So, once this earnings season, we get these new data points, you can kind of see the winners from losers here. And you definitely want to stick with the winners. And we have them at mcstockcharts.com. I think our top two stocks, what was was it? Spotify, and Spotify reported, did a great job. Vert reported, did a great job. GE reported, great job. CMG reported, MU, all these. Oh, EME. This one reported today. One of our top stocks rallied 3%. So we're killing it over here at MC Stock Charts, except for I had Caterpillar in there, and that's going to get the old, it's going to get the axe. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Excuse me. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Except for I lie, in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing, and that's talk about the earnings after hours here. Microsoft was Jobs' nemesis when Bill Gates was there. It's a totally different company now, but they reported strong revenue earnings beat. Their web services look good. I have to, dig into the report, and I'll have more in the morning, but, up 5% after hours for a company that size looks fantastic. Needs to take out, to me, needs to take out the old 430. It's still in this channel, still trading in this channel, and here it undercut the 50, and tomorrow it looks like it's going to, blow right through the 50, open up higher. And a big company like this, when investors start, plowing into this thing, there you can see the 50 is 414, so it's probably going to open above it. Yeah, when investors start buying this, it takes some time for this thing to move. So that could 5% move in Microsoft. And Google today announced a beat. They had dividend. Oh my God, it's up 180 now. So this looks like we could have a follow-through day tomorrow on the NASDAQ with those two behemoths running like that, and NVIDIA. They reported, like I say, a beat, and they initiated a dividend. Maybe they want to get into the Dow Jones like Amazon and Microsoft and Apple. I don't know. But anyway, it's probably a tiny dividend. I'll have more in the morning on those stocks. Gosh, 180, man. Ooh, that's going to be a nice gap higher tomorrow. I'm getting excited. Snap reported tonight. And believe it or not, they're up 26%. I think they had earnings of 3 cents. So good for Snap. Congrats to Evan Spiegel and his team over there. So I don't want to be a jackass. Acknowledge a good job. Intel, it used to be that the joke was, AMD's best day was when Intel reported earnings. Intel reported tonight, and you can see they're down 9%. Which makes me want to go to AMD. AMD's up, probably be up tomorrow. Yeah, gosh, Intel can't get out of its own way. And then Gilead reported tonight, and it's up 3-something%. There was a beat there. They also had some news. I'll have this stuff in the morning. I just am too busy to really rifle through all these earnings reports. I just wanted to note that Microsoft, Google, and Snap, this could definitely start a follow-through day in the NASDAQ tomorrow. Even Meta's up after hours, 446. Man, if you guys got that at 415 or anything below 420 today, you got a steal of a deal if you're a longer-term holder. Anyway, that's it for me today. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm looking at. Got some stuff on our ready list. Sprouts Farmers Market. It was up today while the NASDAQ was. And all the indexes were gagging. So that's the relative strength that, I'm looking for. Wingstop's another one on the ready list, up nearly 2%, up after hours. So this is showing strength while the indexes are gagging. And that's what I like to see. NEM's another one on our ready list this week. So yeah, up 12%. Thank you very much. So, but the same token, I've had CLSK on the ready list. It was only down 1% today. Okay, pulled back to its moving average. Not bad. This thing trades with Bitcoin. Anyway, I digress. I'm excited because tomorrow morning looks like, our patience may have paid off, just holding out and just doing little trades tomorrow. We might be able to jump in here. Check the ready watch list, and at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up.